Hi, we are the Team 3. In this video, we are going to talk about transportation problems and transportation model.
Transportation problem. The transportation problem is a special type of linear programming problem where the objective consists in minimizing transportation costs of a given commodity from a number of sources or origin to a number of destinations. Each source has a limit supply while each destination has a demand to be satisfied. The cost of shipping from a source to a destination is directly proportional to the number of units shipped.
Elements of transportation problems. To solve a transportation problem, the following information must be given. 1. The decision variables indicate how many units of the product should be shipped from each warehouse to each point of sale. 2. The objective function, which is to minimize transportation costs. 3. The supply constraints and demand constraints. 4. The number of sources. 5. The number of destinations. 6. The total quantity available to each source. 7. The total quantity required to each destination. 8. The cost of transportation of one unit of the commodity from each source to each destination.
Assumptions of transportation problems. The following basic assumptions are made before using any transportation technique. The total quantity available at all the sources is equal to the total quantity required at the destinations. If they don't match each other, dummy sources or dummy destinations are added. The unit transportation cost from one origin to a destination is known and certain. The unit cost is independent of the number of goods transported.
Types of transportation problems. There are two different types of transportation problems based on the initial given information. Balanced transportation problems are the cases where the total supply is equal to the total demand, when the total number of units available at the supply region is equal to the total number of items available at the demand destinations. It is termed a balanced transportation problem. Imbalanced transportation problems when the total supply of all the sources is not equal to the total demand of all destinations. The problem is an imbalanced transportation problem. To solve an imbalanced transportation problem, the problem must first be balanced by introducing a dummy origin or destination.
Dummy sources and dummy destination. In real life, supply and demand requirements will rarely be equal. Demand variations may be because of change in customer preference, change in prices, and introduction of new products by competitors. These unbalanced problems can be easily solved by introducing dummy sources and dummy destinations. These are an imaginary origin or destination with zero cost introduced to make an unbalanced transportation problem balanced. Dummy destination. If the total supply is more than the total demand, we introduce an additional column, which will indicate the surplus supply with transportation cost 0. Dummy source. If the total demand is more than the total supply, an additional row is introduced in the table, which represents unsatisfied demand with transportation cost 0. In this picture, you can see an illustrated example for the transportation model. The transportation model addresses the concept of moving a thing from one place to another without change. It assumes that any damage en route has negative consequences, so it's used to analyze transportation systems and find the most efficient route for resource allocation.